A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Turn 200's coverage of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Round number 24 of the season. And for the first time, we're on a big 2-mile D-shaped oval. It is Michigan, back in the Irish Hills once more. Great to be back here after a great race last week at Richmond. It's Tommy Cook, and once again, making the jump over from Richmond 2 weeks in a row. How blessed are we? Ashton Crowder is back in the booth here tonight. Hello to you, partner. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, you were very much blessed to have me here. Very excited to be back. It's cool to be here for the full 100% and not just a quarter way through. It's very exciting.
Well, this is going to be a very dynamic race here at Michigan, the big 2-mile oval. Already very hot track temperature. That's going to play a factor. Kind of a shorter race, only 80 laps here tonight. And also, any race is going to be dynamic when you cram about 30 people onto the track as well.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's the most exciting part about it. It's a pretty full field here. But Michigan, though, it's playing out more like a plate track nowadays than it is like an auto club esque race. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
There's a quick look at the timing charts. Trucks are out on track for qualifying right now. We'll take a look at the point standings entering tonight. Only 3 races left until it is playoff time for the first time with Max V. And those 10 drivers you see there, save for Andrew Schulte, who I believe is back tonight, but again is removing himself from eligibility at last check. But these are the top 10 in the standings. After Richmond last week, the big change, Scott Patton now is in second in the points. He's jumped over Heath Smith. Smith is right there. So both of them continue to close in little by little on Justin Michael, who was having a very good race last week until the white flag came out. And then all of a sudden it was not so good. But he's still leading the points. Andrew Schulte slipped back to 4th. This will be the first time he's been on track with Max V in a couple of weeks, if indeed he takes the green flag tonight. Charlie Widener is now into the top 5 in the standings after the win 2 weeks ago and another strong run last week. Johnny Hamby's dropped to 6th. The rest of the top 10 has stayed the same outside of the margins, which continue to decrease for everybody except for Mike Milfelt, who made up points last week after snagging another podium. So 80 laps here tonight. Let's get a quick look at the track conditions, which will change a little bit. 101 degrees on the track temp. It is pretty blustery from the looks of the flags there down the front stretch. And indeed, gusts of 13 miles an hour or more, according to our weather bug here. 2-mile racing, like you said, it plays more like super speedway racing. Certainly, unlike a super speedway race, I would say, especially at Michigan here, tires going to be a factor, even with a bit of a shorter race, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Anytime that I raced here when it was more of like the plate package stuff, I always made sure the first like 5-10 laps of the run I was slower than everybody just to try to keep the heat out of the tires as much as I could. However, though, when you're in the trucks and you don't have that much room to play with and momentum is everything, you can't really do that. So it just ramps everything up and makes everything like that much more hectic.
Yeah, certainly. I think hectic is going to be the great word to describe this first run, I would imagine, as we're chasing lap 24 for the stage break tonight. As qualifying wraps up with Ryan McRoberts on track, we will see how things go here tonight for 80 laps around Michigan for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. And how about a first-time pole sitter here? Riley Tilton is going to lead this field to green here with Max V. It will be Mike Milfelt Jr., who qualifies great, is good on the fast tracks. He will line up on the outside of the front row. Justin Michael then will start in 3rd. Next to Heath Smith is one of his championship adversaries on row number 2. Matt Sisler and Jacob Gibson on the 3rd row. Rod Mitten is back tonight. That's for the first time in multiple months that the 92 is back on track. He will start in 7th. Johnny Hamby will line up in the 8th position. Jack Watts and Andrew Schulte, the reigning series champ, round out your top 10 as he's back for the first time in a couple of weeks as well. Starting in 11th, it's Charlie Widener. He won last time out on a big track in 11th, or at Pocono, rather. He starts in 11th. Brad Slagle, a top 10 last week. Good run for him. He starts in 12th tonight. Will Kirk and John Pansola, who's also back for the first time in a number of weeks. He starts in 14th. Greg Mull and Andre Savala will make his debut here tonight with Max V. He starts at 16th. Wally Turheimer, Kerry Cleaver, Kyle Manos, and Daniel Reese will round out your top 20 starters. Chris Voiles, Ryan McRoberts on row number 11. It's Chris Surgeon and Rob Haynes on row number 12. On row number 13, we have James Lehman on the inside. Matt Rodolasso is back as well. He starts on the outside. Patrick Blundell's first time here, I think, since last season. He will start in 27th. Zachary Groover in 28th. And Michael Van will be your 29th and final starter on the grid here tonight at Michigan. Once again, it is 80 laps. Lap 24 will be the stage break. That's the only guaranteed caution of the night, although I would imagine we've mentioned plate-style racing here already a couple of different times. I think we'll be lucky to make it to lap 24 and that be the first caution of the night.
Yeah, there's no way that we're going to go all the way green. There's just no hope for that, just with the style of racing. But, I could see them going all the way to 24, to be honest with you. I remember my time in here. It wasn't that bad.
There have been, I think, 1 or 2 grid disaster starts here with Max V. I could think of Kansas last season, which, if I remember correctly, you started that race with a penalty, so it kind of cut you a break. But that was a disaster. Haven't seen anything really akin to that at the start of a race. A couple of times at the super speedways, which, you know, that's within the norm. But I usually say once we get to the 2-mile ovals, if you could get past 2 or 3 laps and really get past the first caution, get it out of your system, you can get long green flag runs here. It'll be more pertinent, I think, once we get past the stage break. We could see a bit of spreading out amongst this field.
Yeah, the thing that's going to help these drivers is how wide the racetrack is. If you go to a place like a Charlotte, you know, it's pretty packed in there. It's pretty tight. But here, I mean, you got like 3 lanes that are usable. So that's something I'm looking for to give them a little bit of hope.
Hello to Ashton Crowder in the chat. He's the only one so far. No, we got more. So hop in the chat, say hello, tell us who you're rooting for. Now we got some new guys in here tonight, and some folks we haven't seen in a while. So maybe some Laps fans that are back in the stands with us tonight on Turn 200. Hello to everybody. Pace truck is pulling off, getting ready to go racing here for round 24 of the season with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. It's Riley Tilton and Mike Millfield on the front row, and we're racing. Somebody got a big jump there in the back and passed on the inside. I would imagine that'll be a black flag. I think that might have been Matt Sisseler. Tilton leading, Michael challenging Michael for second. It's Justin Michael on the inside, Mike Millfield on the outside. And Justin will slip up and take that second position.
William Kirk is making it almost 4 wide up there on the top. He's making it work.
Kirk on the top side. Is the top side the place to be as this run goes along, or is the getting good now?
I feel like with how they're going to stack up on the restart, that's when you want to be at the top. I always found that running that, yeah, that was close. I always found that running that first seam was usually the best, but I mean the amount of momentum Williams getting on the top here, I mean I might have to bite my tongue a little bit. It's looking good.
He's already got 8 spots. That is Jacob Gibson sliding up the track. Not sure if he was on defense or just sliding to hang on for dear life. And that's actually Matt Sisseler in the blue 93 truck. So that was not Sisseler that jumped the start initially, way in the back. Sisseler mixing up the paint scheme on us. Is Kirk now taking it 3 wide here for third. Sisseler on the bottom, Millfield the meat and the sandwich, and Kirk up top.
See, he's gaining majority of his time on entry where they're kind of having to, not really brake, but they're having to lift out and get it rotated down to the bottom. With him being so high on the racetrack, he can just stay flat out. And I mean, he's gaining on exit, but it's really just that entry where he's gaining the most of his time.
Sisseler clipped the apron there into turn number 3. Got him a bit wobbly, but gets it back in shape. And we continue on. Will Kirk absolutely motoring up top. Plus 11 here in just 4 laps, and now trying to track down Riley Tilton. We've seen have a lot of speed here on the ovals this season. Still looking for that first win with Max V. Lots of shuffling here further back. These drivers are pushing forward. Charlie Widener is one of them. He's gone up 6 positions since the drop of the green.
Widener's looking to use that top line a little bit too. I think right now when the tires are still pretty cool, it's gonna work. But I'd be a bit concerned later on in the run once the heat starts to come into it and wear starts to play a factor. How much of a disadvantage running the top like this is going to put them in.
Here's the blimp cam. Just look at how fanned out they are. Schultz is shooting a gap up the middle. As you can see up front, Kirk is closed inside of a truck length for the race lead. Hello to Rob Williams in the chat. Thanks for hanging out. couple of trucks loose, a bit out of shape. I think it was Terheimer. Was one of them for sure. As Kirk making a move for the race lead. And he'll take it. What a run to the front here for the 9. Is that kind of pace sustainable? Is he going to pay for it here before much longer?
Hey, Riley's making a move back on the inside, though. I think the tires definitely are going to give up a little bit more than guys who are running the bottom, but this first run's really going to be your sandbox where you want to test this stuff, see how much of a disadvantage it really will be. But it's looking like right now, top even as the run goes on, it's still in play, so I think with the track still being hot, I think that's where you're getting at.
So Tilton retakes the lead. Kirk back to second. Widener up to third. Justin Michael going the usual MO of hanging on to the tires, letting everybody get out in front of him and burn it up. Still being in a good position here. This thing's going more single file through the top 10.
So Kirk now has moved down about a lane and a half. Instead of him being like all the way up at the wall, he's down like kind of near the third lane. Ran that in 3 and 4. That's seeming to help him. But he also does have help from Charles Widener behind him. Makes a well of a difference. I always found it to be really interesting, like all the different lines you can run here. Like it's not so like bottom as you would expect with it being like super flat out. Like you can really keep momentum up running the top, but like you can also kind of like cut off that distance on the bottom and really like point it straight. Like there's a lot of creativity that comes at this racetrack.
And that's what we like about Michigan and Auto Club. Very dynamic racetracks with lots of room to operate, very high speeds. A lot to love about the big 2-mile D ovals.
And Kirk lost a lot of time there trying to run the wall again.
Open the door here for Widener to try and pounce to get up to second. Michael, Milfelt, Sisler, Schulte, Gibson, Mitten, and Mall in the top 10. They're all right here. Wow, that was tight. Ooh. Widener will take it. And now Michael is going underneath.
Almost halfway through this run, where we're going to start seeing how big of an advantage saving tires is. And right now for Justin Michael, it's looking like it is.
Certainly.
I mean, it's something he's really good at. It's more on the technical side, but like he can enter and exit the corner at the same speed as you, but at the center of the corner, he's way slower. So it's always really deceiving. It makes it almost seem like he's not like really doing anything, but with him being like 2 or 3 miles per hour slower than you in the middle of the corner, he's keeping the tires on it that much more. So you get eaten up, as you see Widener getting eaten up right now down the back straightaway. He just fires off. There's no wasted energy in the center.
Everybody just about working right up to the wall in the tri-oval. As Widener going to try his hand at going to the top here. Tilting off low. All one driver attached to the lead pack. One driver is Patrick Blundell, who I'm assuming had to come down and serve a pass-through penalty at the start of this race. Wow, huge crossover there for Widener. Takes it all the way down to the grass from the outside wall and nearly back up into the door of the 58. But Widener to the point.
See, Riley's going to have to learn from that for the future, because he put himself really out of position on the front straightaway the last lap. He let himself get passed on the outside when he had every bit of position and gauge that he could. And now it's pushing him all the way back to pretty much third at this point. So that'll be something he can use to learn from and use later.
Wow, that was somebody who got way loose there. I think it was Matt Sisler. Had a handful of counter steer on that one to try and not crash. As Kirk has gone back up to the top side, he seemed to find a second wind here on these tires as he is dirt tracking the 9 truck. Oh boy, that was, I think the second wind may be gone.
He might still be there. The one mistake he's making right now that I can see is he's trying to run outside of the rubber. When your tires are really fresh, you can get away with that, but as soon as you're...
Justin Michael! He's going to try and save it. He's going to bring it around. It's going to bring a caution out. There goes Sisler around. Sisler into Greg Mall. Big time problems here. Mike Milfeld involved. Goodness gracious. That all started with the 87 slide in the back end of the truck around. Tank swapper. And collects multiple other drivers there. That will be the first caution of the night. Just as we saw a couple of people start to get loose there, it happens to Justin Michael, who, from what we could tell, had been saving tire up to that point. We had just taken a look as well at the track conditions. Track temp is shot up to 105, so that's 4 degrees, which isn't nothing, but I mean it's only 105, and these guys are slip sliding around everywhere.
Well, when I was looking at it, the track temp about 5 laps ago, I think it was down to 94 degrees.
Oh, wow. So it's gone way up then.
Yeah. So that could have been a situation where sun came out and it got really hot and they just weren't used to it. And with how much you're in the throttle, like every little bit counts, and may have just caught all of them out there.
So let's back this up even further. What you're going to see here through turns 3 and 4 is Michael sliding up the track just a bit. He'll tag the 58 of Riley Tilton. I've lost my half-speed option. But we'll see this in quarter speed and then speed it up. There's the contact. That upsets the 87 truck. Tilton is going to hit the wall here. Let's see if Schulte is going to miss this. I think Michael's going to correct it a couple of times. And then finally it's going to come around as the field is sort of stacking up. You see, well, Kirk gets a piece of Tilton there who had just come out of the wall. Gibson all the way down to the grass. He's going to miss it. Sisler is not. Bam. Big shot there from Milfeld. Sisler then going to come up and tag Greg Mall pretty hard. So those are the drivers that are going to get the worst of this, as everybody else seemingly misses major contact. And that was Mike Milfeld again getting into the inside wall, and Justin Michael there as well. So we're back to live, as I do believe pretty much everybody was just down pit road, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe save for a couple people.
I think Widener stayed out. Might be wrong on that. No, he did. He definitely did stay out.
So Widener stays out, and Daniel Reese has also stayed out. But then everybody else, because Schulte was the first one through the crash, everybody else came down pit road.
Correct.
Okie dokie. So Matt Sisler, as you could imagine, is back down pit road. And no fast repairs here in Max V. 4 sets of tires in the pits. And with a shorter race here, tires, I'm sure, were on the menu for everybody, obviously, except for the 95 and the 34.
This is a strategy I'm excited to see. Tires should cool down pretty much all the way here through the cycle, so I mean they're gonna have quite a bit of grip loss. But if I'm somebody like a Schulta, I'm gonna be really intrigued to see how much you are losing. So like for a late race restart, if you need to take 2 or anything like that, like what are you gaining, what are you losing? It's all experimental time.
Experimental time. That's the best time.
Yeah. And you gotta experiment sometimes.
Absolutely. Seems like a good opportunity to do it. There should be a short dash to the stage caution here as the pace truck will head off. Field is under the control of Charging Charlie Widener, and he has been a Charger, plus 10. Reese up here through strategy, plus 18, and we're coming to lap 19. Oh, Reese, not a good start there on the outside. 3 wide already, going for third.
Looks like it's going to get out of the way. It's very respectful.
Certainly did not go the way that he had hoped, as now Charlie Widener is under fire here from Andrew Schulta for the lead. Whoa, we got one spinning. It's Chris Sargent, and he is going to hit the inside wall hard. That truck is destroyed. No caution. We stay green. We'll take a look at what happened there when we get back under the caution here in about 5 laps' time. How about Rod Mitten? Mitten is up to second in his first appearance in many months here at Maxfield. Still going to have to battle to take it outright. As Johnny Hamby just made a big move there to take a couple of positions as well. Tilton got super loose. They're checking up and scattering down the backstretch around the 58 and the 50. But now it is Rod Mitten in second. I don't know how he didn't crash that.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. That's pretty incredible, to be honest with you. Oh, Widener though, he isn't losing that much time. I want to make sure that that's known. Like, yeah, he is losing, but it's not super significant. It's only about 0.6 of a second. That is not that bad.
That was the 199 of Rob Haynes that got loose underneath the 95. Yeah, Charlie does not quite have the speed, but he seems to have the lateral grip that most people are lacking at this point, which maybe it's just a difference in trying to push it on fresh tires. But he'll continue to slide back here. I will say, credit to him, it's not gone as poorly as maybe I thought it would. And that's a note for the notebook.
It's definitely going to help him on tire sets. That's the big plus from this strategy.
Absolutely. May not be in it for stage points, though. Pit road should be closed this time, as Rod Mitten is going for the lead. Heath Smith is on the scene. He pushes the 81 out front.
If you're Andrew here, you just got to block every lane. You want to be keeping the bottom right now. Got a great drag for that one truck. Of course, he did the opposite of what I said. That's okay.
Ever the contrarian.
Oh yeah, what the commentator says, it never happens.
Exactly. Thank you. White flag for stage. Alice Canar's in the chat saying hello.
Cool guy.
Yes, indeed.
He's got to give him some dirty air. Look at him. Oh, yeah. Put that right rear on him. Send him straight up the racetrack. That's what
Yes,
you got to
indeed.
do.
Smith nearly into the wall there. A little snaking down the backstretch. Smith will have a run, though. He'll take it to the bottom. Schultz looking for some momentum here from the middle, pinching the one down. But it's going to be a drag race to the stripe. Who is going to take the stage win? I think it'll be Schultz. Not by much. Probably about 4 1,000ths of a second, I think it was at the line. Or 4 100ths, rather. That's not much at all.
No, but that was really well executed. He kept pushing him around the racetrack, trying to put Heath in a bad position. Not one that was going to get him wrecked or anything, just compromised, and gave him that dirty air in 1 and 2, and that's really all you can ask for going down the back straightaway. And sure enough, kept him on the inside, said, "You ain't getting this one today, partner." Took it home.
So we're going to go back and find... Try to, anyway. We'll just click on the green flag here and go back and find 66 of Chris Sargent. And we'll fast forward a little bit here. Outside line does not get a great restart, but he's on the inside. I would imagine this is just hot track, cold tires. We'll take it from turn number 1. Sargent. Oh, gets taken 3 wide. Contact from Will Kirk is going to send the 66 rocketing into the inside wall. And that will be... I don't know if that's a race ender, but it certainly is not ideal. As the field is coming down pit road, save for Rod Mitten. He has stayed out.
See, that's the call I like, because they really didn't get that many laps on their tires. And
No,
they
they did
know
not.
that, they don't fall off for like 10 laps anyway, so might as well stay out and just save that set. And I love that call.
So fuel window, we think, is around 25 laps, and you're way better at that than I am. So how does that break this race up, knowing that we're going to be restarting here on lap 27 of 80?
Yeah, let's do some math.
Oh boy.
80 minus, what do we want? Let's do 28. 80 minus 28, then we're going to divide that by 2. That gives us 26. Oh goodness. All right, so the strategy here seems to be you split it right down the middle, but you got to save fuel really heavy on the first run and just pray there isn't a caution, you don't lose all your track position. And then on that second run, you hope that you saved enough on the first run to where you don't really have to save on that second run. You can just go flat out and build your gap.
How easy is it to save fuel here?
When it's flat out like this, really easy, because you don't lose any time in the draft. You can just say half throttle and just, turn the brain off, I suppose, for a little bit and just save. So like Daytona, Talladega, those are your 2 easiest tracks to do it. But like Pocono, that's probably your hardest. Or like Bristol, that's a good one too, because you can lose a lot of time really quickly there. But yeah, I would say not too hard. It depends on what kind of help you're going to get behind, because you have less drag if you have a truck behind you. So you're really hoping that other guys know what you're doing and are willing to assist you in that. But if they're not, it is harder, but it's not that hard, I suppose. It's like, let's see. It's probably like, if somebody isn't helping you, it's like a 7 out of 10. But if somebody is helping you, it's like 3 out of 10. It's not that difficult. It's very manageable.
The draft could be the great equalizer here. Certainly it is. Willed a couple of people into some positions early in the going, especially when everybody is bunched up like this. I think we've got everybody running in this race still, some of them with quite a bit of damage. But a lot of drivers still in it for the win here after the stage break. Could be a lot of interesting names on the top step of the podium when it's all said and done here tonight at Michigan. Rod Mitten is leading the field with Andrew Schultz to his inside. Justin Michael is back in the mix. Him, Jacob Gibson, Wally Terheimer, Zach Gruber, your top 6.
And I want to mention this also. Rod, with him staying out, he's going to be on way less fuel than everybody else. It's going to make it miles harder. If I was him, definitely would have came down pit road, just took a splash, just made sure to be filled up. But,
Whoa, trouble. Rob Haynes. That's Ryan McRoberts there as well. Caution is back out. One other truck is spun around. And there's actually a couple. I think one of them is Will Kirk, maybe Jack Watts there as well. Big trouble there for the 199 and company. And we're back under caution here for the 3rd time.
Well, there goes the strategy, I fear.
You think?
Yeah, dang. Well, that's okay.
Boy, we were
Def-
4 wide and door to door here.
Definitely want to come back down, though, if you're, like, deeper in the pack. And yeah, you weren't kidding. Wow, they were really packed up.
All right, so let's see what we've got here. Haynes is shooting a gap up the middle. I think that's James Lehman there in front of him in the 50 truck. A couple of drivers not super familiar with. I think one of them is the 86 of Andre Savala there on the bottom. Contact between those two. More contact to the truck on the outside of Rob Haynes. Haynes, wow, up on the right side tires there. Got some airtime. I love the blowover feature on this new Aero kit. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure Rob did not enjoy it in that moment. Neither did Ryan McRoberts, who got some floater time there down the backstretch. And then that's one part of the accident. We'll go back and see what happened. So the accident is happening in front of Jack Watts and Will Kirk here. They're checking up. Watts with help from Charlie Widener. Watts gets tagged, goes down and tags Will Kirk. And that is very much manageable damage for those two. Not so much for Rob Haynes and Ryan McRoberts, who got quite a bit of damage on, I think it's fair to call this an aero-dependent track.
Yeah, that those blowover physics. I just want to say that real quick.
Yeah.
Pretty cool,
I agree.
honestly. It's not cool when it happens to you, but you know, watching it back or seeing it on a broadcast or something, it's really it's really neat. But yeah, aero damage on a track like this is I mean, it's your worst nightmare, really. I mean, there's nothing positive to say about it. It's just any bit of damage you have, it's slowing you down, it's less downforce, you can't stay flat out as long, you're having to try harder on the straightaways, you can't save fuel. I mean, it's everything you do not want to see. But thankfully though, we do have draft. So that is nice. Definitely is a pack racing style deal here. So having a little bit ain't too bad. But if you have a lot, that's nightmare fuel for a race car driver.
So we've seen a few drivers come down pit road here under this caution. Greg Mall came down. Roberts, of course, Will Kirk. Heath Smith in as well. Looks like Justin Michael has been on pit road.
Yeah, you definitely want to fill up, because if it does go green, because you always have to assume it will. If it does go green, you want your second stop, or you want your last stop. Sorry, you want your last stop to be as short as possible and take the least amount of fuel possible, because those are valuable seconds that can gain you a ton of time on the racetrack. So I definitely like the call for coming back in if you're like mid-pack or so, or even if you're towards the front, just coming in and getting a splash of fuel and filling it up. I think that's really smart.
So again, Rod Mitten out there on a bit older tires, lighter fuel load for the 92 truck. He was the only one that did not come down during the stage, but he was at the front of the field before the stage caution came out. So it was really only a net gain of about a spot for the 92. But he's up here in the mix still. Pace truck headed back off. Working our 4th caution of the night. Another race yard here. Andrew Schulte in control of the field. We're back underway. 32 of 80. It's Jacob Gibson right there on the left rear quarter panel of the 92. 3 wide behind them. As that's Lehman moving through. Jacob Gibson now hounding the 81 Taco Bell machine for the race lead. Well, Ryan McRoberts is down on the bottom of the track there into the grass, trying to stay out of the way.
That about scared me to death.
Yeah.
Heard some grass being mowed there, and I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be really bad.
Rod Mitten to the point. Schulte and Lehman now duking it out for second, with Hamby and Gibson behind.
Hey, who said you needed tires?
Yeah, great question. I wonder who that was.
It's definitely me. He has 2 heat cycles on his tires now, though, so that means that they are going to be hard as a brick. Which is probably going to help him, though, because you want to be tighter to stay flat out. Everybody's been loose the whole time. And it's hot again, so a lot of this is going to play into his favor on this run, I feel like.
To be fair, I would have also said that he needed tires, so.
You know,
Just
like-
a truth by omission there.
yeah, I mean, general logic needs to be broken every now and again. And I mean, he's doing it right now, that's for sure.
We're good about breaking logic here as we're going 3 wide. Mike in the middle, Tilton on the bottom. And that is the 86 on the top side. Andre Savola.
Tilton got in that little fender bender, we'll call it, earlier. But man, he's been mighty impressive.
He has had great speed this season. Not just on the ovals, got a podium finish at Sonoma as well. Got a podium finish at Charlotte in the All-Star race. Should have had a podium finish at the Charlotte race proper, but ran out of gas in the last lap. Yeah, he's had great pace this season.
I mean, just his qualifying run alone, I mean, the gap that he had on everybody else, that was just astounding. You don't see that typically at tracks like this.
Justin Michael tucks back into line P9. They're going 3 wide behind him. As that's Groover on the outside. Smith on the bottom, and Tilton there into the side of the 86 of Savola.
That was really smart to back out there from Riley.
Yes. Speaking of tight, whoa, Lehman rolls out of the throttle not to pile into the back of the 92 into turn number 1. Lehman and Hamby are hot on the trail here of your race leader.
They're working together nicely. They got that little 2-truck draft going on. They're kind of getting to Rod a little bit late, though. That's kind of the problem here. They're not getting a big enough run early enough, as they've just completely axed that another 2 wide. But yeah, they last lap or so, they're getting him right at the end of the straightaway, and that's just not enough time to make a move that's solid.
Rob
Now, why is
Haynes. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, why does that always happen? You know, mention something cool,
Mm-hmm. And then it goes
and then
away.
they just, yeah, it goes away. What's wrong with them?
It's the power we have. As here's a big lunge to the inside. Charging Charlie looking to go. from 4th to 1st, maybe. Who turns 3 and 4? Huge run for the 95. At the line, it's still mid. But Widener's here on the bottom.
That's App State, baby.
Is that what they say? That's App State, baby?
Oh yeah. Now they're used to upsetting some teams in the football world, that's for sure. He's gonna get some help now. Huge help.
That's a team effort there on the bottom. Hamby getting his team boss through him. Widener back to the lead.
I always really hated that, get beat by some teammates. Always at Talladega and Daytona, and you're just like, yep, I'm doing all I can. And then
Well-
5 teammates get you.
Well, I've started racing against Johnny Hamby on Sundays, and I felt good because I won the first race. I raced against him at, and then he's beat me the next 3 times in a row, and is ahead of me in the points. So, guess that shows me for gloating for 1 week.
Yep, life definitely comes at you fast. I mean, Rod Minton, though, he is keeping very good pace, very solid pace the entire time. So even though he's on those older tires, it's not mattering as much. Definitely the heat cycles are helping him. I think if they went green on that first restart, he probably would have been messed up a little bit here, as the kids say. But since he's got the 2 heat cycles, that makes a world of difference, and he's really able to hold himself steady, keep himself in good position.
Just got a notification that Will Kirk has jumped to his pit stall. Not sure why. I don't see a crash. So maybe just needs to retire from this race for some other reason. But if you were Rod Minton here, rather than battling for positions and wearing out these tires even more, would you just jump to the back of the line here and ride, or are you going to continue to scrap?
Depends on what I need out of my tires, honestly. I think if he's in a position right now where, let's say he's loose, you probably want to ride, but if he's tight, he definitely doesn't want to do that because he's going to run into a point where, because his tires are harder than the other competitors, he's going to run into a significant disadvantage on the tail end of the run. So you really just have to run the pace that you need to shift the balance one way or another. Right now, it looks like he's a little bit on the loose side. Yeah, he definitely is. So that would kind of push him back. But yeah, and I mean, fuel's a question too. If those 2 cautions pushed him into the window, I mean, sure, you know, you can still save a little bit, but you can push. But if they haven't, then definitely, yeah, you want to save. So it's all situational at this point, really. No, that's a cop-out, but that's the truth.
That is the truth. He's getting help right now from Brad Slagle, who's coming off the back of probably his best full race of the season last week. Finished 7th at Richmond. He's in the top 10 most of the night as well. He's had good top 10 runs this season, but has yet to really put together the finishes. So it's great to see the 052 following that up with another strong top 5 run here tonight. As Johnny Hamby has been all over Charlie Widener here. His teammate going for the lead.
Yeah, if you're Johnny Hamby, you definitely don't want the guy who owns the league to pass you. That's the last thing you want here. So he's going to be blocking like crazy, or just hoping that James doesn't make a move that he has to contend with. But I mean, those 3 trucks though, they're in really good position. Pit stops coming up. That's something you want to think about, is what's going to help me build the biggest gap possible, because you want to eliminate trucks in this situation. You definitely don't want to make a move and then bring the trucks behind you towards you.
Speaking of gaps built and gaps closed, Riley Tilton was pulled right up to this second lead pack now, as he is now hounding Minton and Slagle for position. And he was back closer to that group with Heath Smith not just a couple laps ago. So the 58 making moves.
God, he just made a move onto the apron.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, wow.
Right
okay.
down there.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, he's the fastest on the racetrack though. Let's not get that one twisted. It's not close. If he ends up getting into this lead pack here, just pushes Rod up there, That's going to be a contender. There's no doubt about that.
Certainly. He's been wanting to win here for a while, and he has certainly got the pace to do it today.
Oh, Rod, you
Oh.
don't do that. That was the wrong move. You need to take that push.
Somebody up in the wall further back. And it's Jack Watts? Oh, who was that? I have no idea. They're going incredibly slow, though. We'll go back up to the
Zachary-
front of the field as here comes Ron Mitten to pit road.
Zachary Groover and John Pansula. You said Rod's on pit road?
Yep, Rod is down pit road, and that was Pansula. You're right, that pounded the wall there at a turn number 2.
Okay, yeah, Rod is way out of the pit window, sadly.
Okay.
That is suboptimal. That makes a lot more sense why he didn't take that push now, though.
We've had some interesting races here at Michigan in our time on turn 200, even with the trucks. You and I, actually, the first time we got to call a race together in the booth was Truck 200 here at Michigan, and that had an interesting conclusion. And I think a lot less based in strategy, a lot more cautions in that race, and some drivers throwing things at the wall and making them stick.
I'd be lying if I said I remembered anything about that race.
That's okay. It's my job to remember.
That's
I do.
right.
It was a good time.
I remember I had a good time. I just don't remember what happened in the race, but I knew there was a lot of cautions. But as the world works, Rod Mitten is back up in the front, battling for the lead lap again. And this is going to annoy a couple of those guys, but he's going to make quick work of it. That's the new tires right there. Going to be about a second and a half faster a lap, so that's a big deal.
Goodbye, see you later. Mitten is back on the lead lap. So I think Greg Mall would be in position for the lucky dog at the current moment in time, if I'm not mistaken. As Widener trying to fend off now Lehman, who's finally gotten at least by Hamby, kind of around him a little bit. Tilton and Slagle are pushing hard behind to catch up.
Seeing Rod pull away like that reminds me of a situation that happened with Keegan Leahy in a Peak Series race. And if we weren't in the midst of a battle for the lead right here, I'd definitely tell that story. But James has ran a really good run right now. He's kept the tires on it. Well, right there he buzzed them off once again. As soon as I say something, it doesn't happen. But yeah, he's ran really solid. And that's the name of the game here, though. Like you're kind of mentioning earlier, like you gotta figure out what pace you're running, and you gotta figure out what's beneficial to you. And he's definitely just kind of sat around for the first half of this run and just let things come to him. And now you can see he's got a major advantage on the 95.
Yeah, went down low. Got a big run down the backstretch, hanging right here with Widener. Just a teeny tiny bit lower there on entry as Widener tries to get some air off the 66 down the front stretch. That Chris Surgeon's machine is looking a little worse for wear, to say the least, but it's still running. And what they say, just keep on trucking.
Oh wow. Yeah, with how hard he hit that inside wall, I'm honestly really impressed that that truck is still going forward.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. If I would have hit the wall that hard and the caution also did not come out, I probably would have just quit. So kudos to him for sticking it out.
Yeah, I definitely would have been crying, to be fair.
So Hamby has slipped off this battle for the lead. He's falling towards Tilton and Slagle here.
So at this point, if I don't feel like I'm going to easily get by the 95, I'm going to take these last few laps. I'm just going to save as much as possible, because we do have pit stops coming up very, very soon. maybe right now. I just saw the 95 key up. I have no clue what's going on though. We'll see. But pit stops are coming very, very soon. So the more fuel you have in the tank when you pit, the faster the stop's going to be. So that's something I'll be looking out for.
We think the window opens next time around. Is that right? Maybe another lap after that?
Okay, 95's letting him go. That's, wow. I have no idea why you would do that, but that's very interesting. Good sportsmanship, I suppose. Or maybe he's pitting. We'll see. Actually, let's watch this unfold.
That'd be one way to strategize to trigger the undercut on yourself, kind of. I'd
Okay,
say
yeah,
Widener's pitting.
He is pitting. Yeah, in that position, you do not want to let that truck go. Like you want to have as good of a time delta as possible, and letting the guy that you're battling go right before you pit just puts you at a disadvantage. So that was nice of him, but that just wasn't what you really wanted to do. But he is going to get the undercut though, so we'll see what kind of gap he can gain or maintain here.
If I were Charlie Widener, I may not even be worried at this point about the 50 of James Lehman. I'd be worried about Riley Tilton, who came in just behind the 95 there. With him on the undercut strategy, as here comes James Lehman down pit road, he is going to be cooking.
That was about as perfect as you can get on pit entry.
That
From
was
James. That was money.
That was very aggressive and well done. Seemed to be under control by the time he got it to the line. It looked a little bit iffy on the way in, but certainly aggressive, and it should pay off for him as long as the exit's clean. Hamby,
Yeah,
Michael, Schultze, Gibson, Slagle all down pit road as well.
He might be in front of the 95 when he comes off pit road here. This is going to be pretty close.
We will just follow the 50 off and see where he's going to cycle out. There's still several drivers that have yet to make their stop, including Heath Smith, Matt Rodolasso, Matt Sisler, Chris Voiles, and, not Rod Mitten. He will be the leader, but on older tires.
Oh, that could be a penalty for James.
Yeah, Lehman got awfully close there to that yellow line, and that is a no-no until you get past that blue cone there. So we'll see if Lehman is going to get a penalty or not. And he is almost 2 seconds ahead of Charlie Widener, so he did his part. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, barring a penalty, that's exactly why you don't let the guy pass you before you pit. That was textbook there on how to lose time. Yeah, that's put James in probably the most advantageous. Is that the word for that?
That is, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I go to school. Position possible, because I mean, he had clean air when he was pitting. He didn't have to check up for the 95 when he was pitting. If he would have stayed in front of him, he had everything he needed there. So now he's got a huge gap, and the 95 isn't even close to getting his draft. So there's nothing he can do, really. I mean, he's just got to run this straight up, save his tires enough this first half of the run, and just hope that Lehman is ignorant enough to burn his stuff off and catch him back later.
But
Of course, if the caution doesn't come out.
James Lehman is not the leader right now. It's Rod Mitten. Now, Mitten is running about a second a lap slower than James Lehman at this current moment in time. And that's not conducive to keeping the lead, but Mitten is still out front. As now the caution is out, and it's John Panzilla. And he's already jumped back to the pits, but that changes just about everything once again.
Dang. That's really sad. I was hoping that was going to play out.
It was definitely going to be interesting. As Panzilla. Oh, don't tell me. Pulls off the track. If you're going to do that, just take it back to the pits unless an emergency happened. We don't know what happened to the 01, but, I mean, if you're just going to call it a night, take it back to the pits. That triggers a caution, and it disrupts this entire race. So hopefully everything is okay for the 0-1. But that was it's caution.
Definitely was a caution. I
And-
remember Ryan Luza did that in a NIS race, and I protested him for it, and he got suspended for a week.
Wow.
Yeah, not my brightest time. Not the best decision ever, but that is something I did because I was really mad he was better than me.
Well,
But yeah, that's unfortunate.
Rod Mitten and a couple others are down pit road, including Riley Tilton, who I was going to mention before the caution came out. Despite triggering the undercuts, did not really get the benefits from it. He came out in 10th when it was all said and done. So Tilton comes back down pit road. Daniel Reese, who was a bit off cycle earlier, has come down pit road. Michael Van, Rob Haynes, who is not on the lead lap, I don't think. And just a few. But now that does mean that James Lehman is the race leader. Charlie Widener is now going to have another crack at this. Andrew Schulte, Justin Michael, who brought out a caution earlier tonight, don't forget, he's still in the top 5. Johnny Hamby now is in the 5th position. Brad Slagle, P6. Jacob Gibson, 7th. Andre Savala. Andre, you're going to have to get a hold of me after this race, inevitably, because I've called you both things throughout the night.
At least you're wanting to correct it. That's nice.
Well, that's the thing is, okay, so we had a gentleman who won. He's now the winningest driver on the channel. His name is Hunter Engrave. But for over 2 years, we called him Hunter Engrave, and he never said anything. We interviewed him 20-plus times, and he never said, that's not how you say my name. And then finally, somebody else told us that we were saying it wrong, and we got it corrected. So we have no shame. If we're doing something wrong, please tell us. And Andre, much in the same. Let us know how to say your name, please. Wally Zerheimer is in 9th. Heath Smith rounds out your top 10. I think technically we would have shame. Not we would not. We don't have any shame. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're shaming yourself.
Exactly.
Said, I got it wrong. I'm wrong.
We do.
I'm
have
sorry.
shame. We have humility. There we go.
Yes.
We are human beings like the rest of us. I know we command the big bucks here on Turn 200. We really rake in the dough. But we say people's names wrong. So tell us if you're one of those people.
Definitely not me. Riley, though, on the pit stops, you're talking about the undercut not working. He missed his stall.
Okay.
He went through it.
That would do it.
Had to put it in neutral, then go to reverse and go, get into gear, and then
Hate
straight
that.
backwards. Yeah.
That is one of the worst feelings in the world.
Yep. But it doesn't matter now because it's a restart, baby.
19 laps to go. Lehman and Widener putting on a show up front, but they've got a new cast of characters, mainly Schulte and Michael. We're back underway. How about that? Lehman to the lead. Schulte powers through to second, and Widener's back to third. And he's not done fighting yet. He's under fire here from his teammate, Johnny Hamby. Michael pinned up on the top side here. Hey, there's Nathan Pallotta in the chat. Saying he loves Ashton Crowder. How nice.
I know that guy. That's pretty cool. All the smiling friends are in the chat. That's awesome. You know, how come in every single race Justin Michael can wreck, but then he's right back up there in the top 5? It's every single time. It's like clockwork.
Perseverance.
And skill.
Definitely skill. Last week he pulled the reverse of that ran incredibly well, the race you would expect from Justin Michael, and then wrecked on the final lap.
Yeah, you definitely want to wreck on the first lap and then make up for it later.
Yes.
That's what I always took.
Blakey Roberts in the chat as well. Hello, hello. Chat's popping off here. We got almost 20 people watching. What's going to be a great conclusion here to the race in Michigan as Michael and Widener are duking it out here for third. Schultz may have a lane to operate with, though. He'll tuck back in behind his teammate in the 50.
I don't know if your camera caught it, but Riley just doored the crap out of somebody off of turn number 2 and just kept it moving. That was pretty awesome.
Certainly I did not notice it. That doesn't mean we didn't catch it, though. Widener
And
now.
you apologized too, so that's good.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you're saying Widener.
Yeah, Widener getting some help here from the 19, maybe, on the top side.
Yeah, you can deal with a 2-on-2 situation right here, but if Justin Michael's in third, your race is basically done. There's really nothing you can do. So that's good from the 19 and the 95 to try to keep that gap, keep that distance. Tell Justin, hey man, it's not going to be that easy. Pushed him back.
Track
You gotta play
temperature
this.
down under 100 degrees now.
Yeah, it's been fluttering around 98 to about 102 the last 10 minutes. It's probably the most consistent it's been the entire race, but the wind keeps trying to swirl up. It's up to about 14 miles per hour now. It's going to make it really tough on him.
Yeah, the wind has not been kind throughout this entire session, practice included. As Lehman continuing to show the way. Widener, Gibson, Michael, all right here. Hamby and Tilton now closing in as well. And Tilton is the one guy, if I were in the top 5 here, I would not want to see pulling up right now. He has had the pace all race long.
It seems as though right now you got to have teammates to work with. You can't just do it on your own. That's the one downfall I could see from Riley. I don't know who his teammates are, but
Not
it doesn't seem like. Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't seem like a lot of people want to work with him. At least the same way they're working with other guys. So that's where you really got to be strategic and plan your moves ahead. You can't just pack down to a corner like that and think you're going to get it done. You got to plan 2, 3, 4 laps ahead of time.
He may just get back up into line here and try and think about things for a little bit. I'm pretty sure he listens to these broadcasts live, which would be very distracting. But, I mean, there's no better person to have in your ear than Ashton Crowder if you're strategizing for the ending of a race.
Well, if he's listening, Riley, make sure you try to pass these guys on the top. Don't get stuck in that bottom, bottom crap. It ain't worth it for you. Just pass them on the top, make those moves. And he's definitely not listening because look what he just did.
Well, he's on a delay. He'll get it.
True.
He'll get it next time he gets back up in the line here.
Yeah, he's gonna hear it and be like, "Dang it, man! I thought that was a good move." Just got
Well,
ridiculed live.
He's still hanging here with John Hamby, although he is now losing out as Hamby got the toe down the back stretch and whoa, wiggles up the track, big time there. And now has all fours back under him, pulls right back up into the line. Heath Smith now will jump to the bottom. That was a wicked save there for the 58.
Yeah, that was great car control. He's been getting on the apron a lot in 3 and 4. That's something I noticed earlier in the race where you can kind of ride the left front tire on it and it just de-wedges the truck there, gets it upset. But yeah, I mean, heck of a job getting that back under control, and he still got momentum down the back straightaway.
Ooh, Jacob Gibson got the wall there in fourth. Andrew Schultz has gone to the bottom here, looking for the pass for the lead. Was swaying a bit, rocking back and forth. There in 1 and 2. Better drive off this time, but Lehman still with that momentum on the top side. Surging ahead through the tri-oval. 10 laps to go. 20 miles left. Oh, Schultz right on the door of his teammate.
Yeah, if I'm the 95, I'm going to push Schulte. I'm not going to let James keep that.
And what do you know?
There you
Right
go.
to the top. Oh, Schulte again, right to the door. Getting a bit loose there.
I guess the third place car or truck here, you want to put them in a compromised position. You don't want to allow them to race. You want to manipulate them as it is and put them in a position you want them to be in instead of the other way around.
Well, Gibson wants to be the third place truck. He's going for it. He's got a couple of podium finishes here this season. It's been a while, though.
Tilton now up to 5th. Just past Justin Michael. He's really loose, though.
Yeah, good recovery from what could have been a crash a couple of laps ago. Schultz all the way up to the wall. I didn't know if he was going to stop. Whoa, slide job there for Gibson. He takes it. Wow. Tilton now underneath the 95, and boy, that was an inch from disaster. Oh, Justin Michael loose again. Let's go all the way down to the Geico restart zone to collect that one. Almost a picture-perfect replay without the crash itself from what we saw in the first caution of the night. These guys are sliding around all of a sudden. Track temperature back up to, I think that says 106, which is the highest I've seen tonight. So just a 7 to 8 degree swing in temperature, just like that. And these guys are all over the place.
And you can't underestimate how big of a deal that is. I remember, I think it was the Coke 600 where Martin Truex Jr. led basically every lap. He almost wrecked during that race because I think the track temp went up like 10 degrees basically in the span of like 3 laps. And they just weren't expecting that.
Oh, Tilton hits the wall. Trying to run the top side. I think it's going to work out for him. But man, he was in a 4-wheel slide there for a hot second. He is driving it like he stole it.
Yeah, no harm done.
Almost got a run out of it, actually. He is going to take it to the bottom here on Gibson. Oh, there you go. Whoa! Holy cow. Gibson losing multiple positions here after that. Schultz and Lehman, they both look so unsteady up here, and they've got Riley Tilton close it in. Some of these drivers are looking unsteady. Tilton is unsteady, but he's also fast with it. He's driving like Greg Biffle. And Biffle won a lot at Michigan.
Yeah, he is wheeling the wheels off this thing right now. Keep it PG. That is, that's not easy to do. He's a 10th faster than everybody on the racetrack right now, though, so it's obviously working for him. But it's just going to be a question of if he can break up the teammates here. That's going to be the big question. It's not so much the talent. It's just, can you put them in a position where they, mess themselves up and you can break them apart?
Lehman going back to the bottom here. These two get to battle, and Tilton is going to be here. Lehman back in the line, 58. Got a bit wide there. Oh, there goes Justin Michael again. All the way down to the inside wall. Where's he going to bring this back on track? Well corralled, but outside of the top 10 now. 3 laps to go. And thank you to John Pansolo for hanging out with us as well. Apologies for my comments over the broadcast. That's certainly understandable. Mechanical failures suck. There's no two ways around that. Lehman hanging it out. Time is running out. 4 miles left to go. Tilton fakes high, looks low. Wow, look at that! He's going to tag the 81! He saves it again, but has taken himself out of the running here for the race win. Truly just pinned the throttle and snuck it to the bottom. A great save. He falls back to 5th. Schulte, I'm sure, just wants to see the white flag. Everybody is squirming around the track here as Lehman tags the wall out of 4. Heath Smith now is in 3rd. 1 to go.
Heath could have a shot at it here.
Heath is closing on Lehman here pretty quick. Schulte just hoping that these 4 tires will stay underneath of him and that nobody is going to bonsai him. Lehman looking low, pins the throttle. He's got to run. Wow.
They all 3 hit the wall.
They
Wow.
all hit the wall pushing for the win, but the win belongs to Andrew Schulte. He's back in victory lane. Great run here tonight for Andrew Schulte. Lehman and Smith on the podium. Jacob Gibson will finish in 4th. Riley Tilton, man, I think he gets my vote for driver of the day for how many times he rallied through the field and pushed towards the front. He did a great job here tonight. But Schulte's back at victory lane.
Yeah, that was really impressive from Riley the entire night. He didn't get a podium, but he got a top 5, so that's going to be good points for him.
That's thinking outside the bun.
Wish there were more victory lanes we could go into.
I know, right? It's a great placement for it right there on the front stretch. I don't think the grounds crew will be very happy about the burnouts in victory lane, as he's going to park it. He'll climb out of the truck as a race winner. Oh, nope, he's not going to park it. But he will be a race winner here for the 6th time this season. And we'll forego victory lane, I guess park at the start-finish line. That's perfectly acceptable as well. All right, let's get you the full finishing rundown here tonight after 80 thrilling laps at Michigan. Great race here tonight. Schulte with the win, Lehman in 2nd, Smith in 3rd. We'll talk to these 3 gentlemen momentarily. 4th place here tonight for Jacob Gibson, 5th for Riley Tilton. Charlie Widener will finish in P6. 7th for Johnny Hamby, 8th for Brad Slagle. Ron Mitten, good comeback run here tonight in 9th. And Andre Savala, I believe, in 10th. Which is a good debut for truck number 86 here tonight. Wally Terheimer, good job tonight in P11. Matt Sisler in 12th. Justin Michael with the save there will fall down to 13th. Boy, he's had a rough couple of finishes, to say the least, the last few weeks. 14th for Kyle Manos, 15th for Chris Voyle, 16th Michael Van, 17th Daniel Reese, Greg Mall, Rob Haynes, and Patrick Blundell. Then we'll round out the top 20. 21st tonight for Kerry Cleaver, Ryan McRobertson, 22nd. Chris Sargent will finish in 23rd. 24th for Mike Milfelt, 25th for Matt Rodolasso. Jack Watts, John Pinsilla, Zachary Groover, and Will Kirk will be your 29 drivers who took the green flag here tonight's disappointing night for driver number 9. So with that, it's time to talk to your podium finishers. And the driver that crept up into the running there late was the one of Heath Smith. But it's another podium for driver number 1. Congrats.
Thank you. It's been a rough couple last weeks, so I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, partner. We're happy to have you. But pretty fun race here tonight at Michigan. This track was very slip-slidey for the most part.
It was I guess the new truck package has changed Michigan for sure. Though, if you went in the corner right behind somebody, you definitely got to push, and then you might get loose coming off from that push-loose condition. But it was fun. It was a blast. I'm sweating. I worked hard there.
Yeah, I bet. You closed right up there late in the going after having to work around a couple of drivers, Justin Michael included there. I mean, you all three, I think, hit the wall coming out of turn number 4 there. You guys were pushing so hard. With a couple more laps, do you think that maybe you would have had something for the top 2 there?
I don't know. I'd burnt my tires up pretty good coming up through the pack, but I just remember a comment that Lehman made at Martinsville that me and him was going to throw down, and I was kind of throwing the kitchen sink at him there. But no, I didn't have a chance on that last lap. I was too far back, and I had pretty much killed my right front at that point.
Well, we'll get that throwdown here soon. I'm sure with the playoffs coming up as well. Definitely we'll get some elbows thrown out. But Ashton, what do you got here?
What's up, Heath?
What's going on, bud?
Yeah, I was wondering, the track temp raised and lowered pretty sporadically the entire time. What was that like behind the wheel?
It was a little weird because when it was lower, of course, you had good grip, and it's hard to keep an eye on it the whole time. So you'd come off the corner one time and you'd be pretty good, and then when it would go up, you'd get pretty loose off. And I don't know what we have our wind and all set on, but if wind set and then the temp going up, I think it made conditions a little worse coming off the corner, especially turn 4.
Yeah, certainly. Turn 4 was a trouble spot for a lot of drivers here tonight. But you persevered. You're back on the podium here. Congrats. A little momentum for you, and a good points night as well with Michael having problems there late. So all in all, a good night here in Michigan. Who do you want to shout out? Who do you want to say hi to?
Yep, got to thank Kerry Cleaver for sponsoring the league with CNC Home Designs, and then, of course, all the MaxV admins giving us a place to run on Thursday night. Patent Paint for these badass paints that I run, and then Highline for helping me out every week, and then, of course, Turn 200. Y'all do an absolutely amazing job. I enjoy what you do, and thank you so much for what you do for MaxV.
Absolutely, partner. Thanks for running the colors on the front of the truck. Looks good as always and looks better on the podium. So we'll hopefully talk to you again next week, I think at Daytona, where you had some success this season.
I hope so. Maybe we can go 2 for 2 there.
Sounds good, partner. Alrighty. Runner-up here tonight for the boss man himself, James Lehman, driving the absolute wheels off of that number 50 truck. Congrats on the podium. Man, what a race for you here tonight. Plus 23. And, man, just using up all 4 of those tires on the truck there by the end.
Yeah, that was a really good race. I think that was probably one of the funnest races I've had this season yet. So, yeah, I burnt those tires up. I was sliding a lot. It was loose. You would think clean air is good. No, it sucks here. It makes you so loose. It's not even funny. Especially that one time where I apexed the corner so bad and I smacked the wall. I was like, yeah, here we go. Got wheel damage. All right, cool. Let's see how this goes. So
everybody was hitting the wall there late. I mean, you and Ashton and Heath were just pushing so hard there. those last couple of laps. I mean, knowing that you came out of it on the other side with at least a podium finish, like you said, that just had to be a blast tonight.
Oh yeah, it's always fun, when you're racing people that are about the same skill level as you, and you guys can trust each other to run tight and pinch people, and you never got to worry about stuff like that. So it's always fun. I would say, man, I was impressed with Riley. Like coming from all the way to the back of the pack up to the front, man. I think if he didn't throw it in there so deep that one corner where he tapped Andrew and got loose, I think if he just backed off and got behind him, I think he would have won this race, hands down. Because he had, 5 laps fresher tires than all of us.
Mhm.
It definitely was paying off for him. So I think he could have got his first win, that's for sure, if he did that. So, but yeah, you live and learn your lessons.
Absolutely. Ashton, what do you got here?
Yeah, on that last green flag pit stop, he had like a 2-second lead. Was the thought process on that one, and how much do you practice pit entry?
Yeah. The thought process was, I was like, how the hell did I pull this off? I have the worst luck with pitting on a green flag. I always lose so much time, or I speed. I think it was probably the best. I think I had a 37-second pit stop compared to everybody had 38, 39 second. And then coming out and having that lead, I was just like, I'm a sitting duck because I ain't got nobody around me to draft. Definitely, if I would have went green there, I would have ran out of gas. That's for sure, because I wasn't able to save fuel. That's for sure.
That was the perfect pit entry if there ever was one. That was so clean.
It was beautiful, man. I'm sitting here watching it right now. I was like, oh, that was so nice. Wheel hopping and everything. You couldn't. It's perfect. I don't think anybody could have done any better. So
just put that on a 12-hour loop. It was front and center for the broadcast, so it's
go.
recorded. It's in history. So, so was the second place and the plus 23 hard charger here tonight. Absolutely fantastic job. Shout outs for you as usual.
Shout out to you guys. You guys at Turn 200, you guys do a great job, and thank you, Ashton, for filling in for Matt tonight. Appreciate it. I look forward to watching you guys' broadcast after this. I know it's going to be a good one with all the action throughout the field, especially with at the very beginning how everybody was together within 3 seconds. So, and thank you to everybody that came out in Max Velocity tonight, and looking forward to Daytona next week. It's probably going to be a good turnout, so it should be fun.
It definitely is going to be a fantastic time. Very much looking forward to it. Go celebrate the P2. We'll talk to you again hopefully next week.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
And now, for the 6th time this season, it's time to talk to Andrew Schulte, the reigning champ, as a race winner here with Max V. Been a couple weeks since we've seen you, but way to announce your arrival with another win here tonight. Congrats.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fun race here tonight from the looks of it. James said Clean Air wasn't the place to be. I think maybe he was just jealous that you had it there at the end of the race. It didn't seem to matter all that much, though, because you all were just all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly loose after once the run got going. You wanted Clean Air there at the end. Lehman had screwed up coming out of 4 and gave that up, but it was so hard to try and pass. I know I used up the tires early on in that last run trying to push Lehman and just kind of create a gap between us two and the rest of the field there at the end, just to have a fighting chance for a win. And then when it came down to it, trying to make a move, obviously the inside probably wasn't going to work unless I could clear him. Just with how big the side draft is, it was going to be a tough deal there, and didn't work out when we were next to him, and just got lucky and was in the right spot when he made a mistake to get out front there.
It seemed like the typical Andrew Schulte kind of night, the qualifying effort that's a little bit further down the board than maybe you were hoping for, but making up for it quick with good passes through the field. Just barely missed Justin Michael there on that first caution to keep the truck clean and get yourself out front through the grace of God and the iRacing gods alone. And then really you didn't look back from there.
Yeah, it certainly was made me pucker a little bit when I seen him get loose because I really thought I was going to get wiped out with how my luck has just been going. I don't know so much here, but the league I run on Tuesday nights has just been nothing but awful luck. So, and had some more this week as well. So I was just expecting to get cleaned out there, but thankfully that didn't happen. And yeah, obviously we had some luck on our sides and was able to come home P1 tonight.
Ashton, what do you got for the race winner?
Yeah, I mean, how are you trying to position yourself to hold that lead over James? Because you were really good at blocking and well, I guess just air blocking and keeping him behind.
Yeah, once I got out at the very end there, I knew he had got in the wall, or like obviously we saw he got in the wall. And I wasn't super concerned about it. I was just gonna protect the high side more. Obviously we've had our not like run-ins, but we've had some good times racing around each other, especially road courses. And when it comes to just, to me, it's less of blocking and more just defending. I mean, I'll throw a block if I have to, last lap or last couple laps kind of thing, but I really just try and position the truck defensively to where it's going to make it the most hard for someone to get around. Especially towards the end there with Riley, I saw him shoot to the bottom, and I just took the natural line that we had been taking. You know, you take a big old sweeping arc into turn one there, and just about the time I got to where my apex was, he had already been pushed, or he was already pushing up off the bottom just with how deep he drove it in there. So just kind of a similar situation to that of making someone else in an uncomfortable situation where they have to do something different with the line that they're running in order to make the move or whatever they're doing. But just trying to stay out front once we had the position and made it happen.
That's another question I have actually. How big of a threat do you think Riley was going to be had he not kind of pushed himself to the bottom there, like 5 to go?
It was going to be tough, but kind of a similar situation. We were just going to try and hold I think I was going to try and hold the outside. I know he had a couple lap fresher tires. So if he had the ability to just send it deep into the corner and hold it enough to clear it, it was going to be tough. But I always like having the outside position when it comes to a 1.5 mile, 2 mile plus track, just because that side draft is going to be so killer. If you can stay on someone's right rear, they're kind of at a loss for things that they're able to do. You know, if you're able to just hang on their corner, they're not going to be able to get the run up off the corners that they want. And then two, you're able to just keep them pulled back if you can stay there.
Well, great job here tonight. Congrats on the 6th win of the season for you. We're still excited that anytime we can get you now from now to the end of the season as well. So, well done on another great run here tonight. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
Appreciate it. Shout out to Scott Patton, Pandit Paints, Bandit Motorsports teammates, CNC Home Designs, you guys that turned 200. I don't know where your other partner is, but it was good good to talk to Ashton. It's been a minute, but I know I saw you were up in the booth at least last week as well. So, should be a fun watch back, and as always, shout out to my wife and kids.
Yeah, Matt at the moment is moving cross country, but the move is about complete, so he should be back here next Thursday night, and hopefully for the rest of the season too. I've given him too many Thursdays off this season, so.
Yeah, it's always a good time. You guys got good chemistry in the booth together.
Absolutely, I'm just happy he's moved closer to me, so I could go bother him more often. And then maybe we could dissolve the partnership for good. But regardless, great job here tonight, and go party hard. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. That's a wrap on Michigan here tonight. Fantastic stuff for 80 laps. Ashton, what'd you make of the night?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we had multiple grooves pretty much the entire race, different strategies, comers and goers. That's everything everybody loves to say nowadays. Yeah, it was just really good. I mean, the racing across the board, I expected it to be a little bit more packy, for lack of better words, but it wasn't. And it was actually spread out a good bit. And there was a lot of talent involved, which is, I mean, really, really refreshing. So yeah, it was just a really good race, though. I mean, Andrew was really fast, Riley was really fast, James was really fast, Heath was really fast at the end. So I mean, pretty much the whole top 5, top 10 really had a chance to win that. So yeah, I think it was pretty good. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I loved it. Great race. I know we were looking forward to the strategy playing out there before that last caution came out, which I think John Pensola is watching on a bit of a delay. So, again, sorry to jump in. Sola, hopefully the issue, whatever it was, gets sorted out for the future. Glad to see you back here with Max V. Hope to see you more often down the stretch. But regardless, yeah. Yeah, good race here. Once that last caution came out, like you said, some comers and goers here tonight, and yeah, man, I was pulling for Riley Tilton there in the end. You can't say he didn't go for it, because he certainly did. But at least he hung on for a top 5 here tonight. And a couple other drivers hanging out in the chat with us. Matt Sistler said disappointed with the 12th place finish. We both know that you've got the speed to finish in the top 5 and top 10. So those runs are coming for sure. And Jacob Gibson says a 4th place hurts here tonight. Wanted to get back on the podium to talk to us, which is... that certainly is a prize, I guess. I don't know. I'd want to talk to you after a race. There you go. And I'm here. So, but thank you to Jacob Gibson, Jump In, Sola, Matt Sisler, Ashton Crowder as well. Thank you to Nathan Paluota, Flanky Roberts, Oz Kidar, Michelle Kirk, and Rob Williams, and anybody else that was out there at Turn 200 Land watching. Yes, the next time you can catch us on stream, we'll be premiering a replay from last Sunday's Top Split Strength of Field broadcast from Interlagos, an hour ahead of the actual Mission R Challenge Top Split Strength of Field broadcast from Daytona Road Course proper this season. That will be at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. We'll hope to see you here for that. After that, between now and next Thursday, we've got racing on Monday night. The Ghost Squadron Formula Super Series is live from Portimao. For the second time in channel history. That'll be at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series is at Pocono, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Wednesday night, the Daredevil Series is at Long Beach. That will be interesting, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for that one. And that will lead us into Daytona for the second time this season with one of the most unforgettable finishes ever here on the channel from Daytona to kick off this season. I'm sure Daytona this time will be even crazier. So we'll hope to see you back here 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time for Daytona next week to be the penultimate round of the championship already, or the regular season title, rather, next week. So that'll be interesting. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us. Thank you to CNC Home Designs as well for being the title sponsor and continuing their support of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series for 2024. And thank you to all the admin staff. Thank you to Ashton Crowder for hanging out with us here tonight. On behalf of him, on behalf of myself, it's Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, saying so long, and congratulations to Andrew Schulte for taking Michigan here tonight with Max V. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.